All right, everyone. Can everybody hear me okay? Yes, okay. Hey, thank you for everyone to come out and make the Game Changer seminar here in San Francisco. This is our fifth one. So it seems like I'm all over the country right now. I will say I much prefer San Francisco over Houston. Just going to say that. I mean, orange versus orange. I'm going to take this. Hey, we are live right now for everybody out there watching on the interweb. We appreciate you. You guys are game changers as well by taking the time to check today's seminar out. Today, our first guest is Misty with Podium. To give you a little information about Podium. Is your dealership texting? Just actually real quick, just raise your hands. Is your dealership texting? All right, awesome. All right, because if you're not, you're obviously leaving deals on the table. You know, the average consumer responds text messages via 73% of the time, 73% of the time. You know, phone is down to like 17% of the time. Real quick, Podium is a game changer for dealers by turning your website, Google listing, and even showroom into conversation starters. From reviews to payments to AI-powered capture, Podium helps you sell more cars by meeting customers where they are, when they want to be, and that is on their phones. So, Misty, I'll have you kick us off. Big round of applause for Misty, guys.
Thank you, Jason. All right. Let's be honest, you did not come here to listen to me. So we will be quick, we will be efficient, so that we can get moving faster and get to the baseball game. But Jason did a pretty great introduction of brief intro of Podium. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about AI and how that's a game changer for dealerships. But I did want to just give a little bit of background of how Podium came to be. So it all started with a tire shop. One of our co-founders was in college and got a call from his dad that said, man, I'm so frustrated. I own this tire shop and I just constantly am getting negative reviews. I have endless positive experiences, but the only people that leave reviews are people that have bad experiences. So being in college and being an entrepreneur that he is, he worked with our other co-founder, Dennis Steele, to figure out a solution to this problem that his father was having, which is now what you all use in your dealerships every day. You have somebody come in, whether that's to buy a car or a service appointment, and when they leave, they receive a text that says, hey, thanks for joining us. Mind leaving us a 5-star review or telling us how your experience was? This doesn't seem groundbreaking right now, but back then that was a game changer. They went and knocked on doors to local businesses in Utah and started selling this idea. And initially there was a ton of pushback. It was, why would I ask for feedback from my customers? The only people that leave reviews are people that are mad at me. I don't want to hear from my customers. But they actually found by more and more engaging with your customers that you could boost your Google reviews, boost your reviews online, which ultimately helped not only dealerships, but a ton of other local businesses grow, and fundamentally created a shift. So while at that point, that didn't seem like a big deal. Now it doesn't really seem like a big deal, but it was. And it was a really, truly a game changer moment. We're in a very similar situation right now way, more complex maybe than reviews with AI. If you think back to even just 5 years ago when Podium started investing in AI and working with OpenAI right here in San Francisco, not a ton of people were talking about that. Not a ton of people were investing the time and money into doing that. We were talking about COVID. We were talking about a lot of other things that were going on. But Podium has really seen the opportunity for dealerships to invest in AI to boost their businesses and ultimately continue to grow. So this is just like a fun recap of, where AI has been and how fast that revolution has been. In 1950, we're seeing the first human versus machine test, right? That probably didn't go very well for the machine, but think about how far we've come to now we have in 2025, machines are the #1 coders in the world. They're getting perfect scores on things like the SATs or other tests. And they really, machine learning has come so far. So we are here now in the automotive AI revolution, which truly is a game changer for the automotive space. Now, however, this call to implement AI is everywhere. I'm sure if you work in a dealership, you're getting emails, you're getting texts, you're getting calls saying you need to implement AI to sell more cars. You need to implement AI to resolve all of the tariffs that are happening, but no actually, understanding of what that true value is for your dealership. And so we're going to talk today, kind of really focus on what the use cases are for AI, or at least customer facing AI in your dealership, and where maybe spending the time and investing will be helpful. So the shift is here. AI is changing the auto industry. Consumers expect instant digital first experiences. And no matter the size of your dealership, this can be really hard depending on the technology that you have, the kind of follow-up that you're getting from your sales folks that are on the floor. AI streamlines operations and that lead conversion and makes it a lot easier for that instant response to be something that's critical and a key aspect of your dealership. Dealerships that are adopting AI are seeing gains in efficiency and revenue. We're going to show some examples of where they're doing that. A couple of them being is, it takes away the manual aspect of things and gives that to an AI employee that can automate it and make it a lot more efficient. So instead of missing leads after hours, an AI employee is able to instantly engage and respond 24/7. We have, Memorial Day coming up. We have people leaving town. We have Sundays being closed. There's a lot of different holidays coming up. An AI employee never takes the day off. He or she is always there ready to answer any call of anybody that's coming in. Manual labor is expensive. By no means is AI going to replace all labor, but it does have the ability to make your teams a lot more efficient in when they're working and how they're working. And then there's also obviously a lot of training and turnover that happens, which typically doesn't happen with AI employees. So let's talk about the use cases for your dealership. We just kind of touched on this a little bit. Removing manual and tedious tasks from your employees. I was talking to a dealer a couple of weeks ago who was like, I'm really interested in AI. I don't think I'm going to get my team to invest in it. They're really skeptical and they're not sure that it's the best idea for a dealership. And I said, what I would say to them is, what's the number one thing you hate about your job? Because AI can probably do it. The things we don't like about our jobs, the tedious manual tasks that we have to come in every day. You come in on Monday and you have to look at all those leads that came in over the weekend and try to catch up so that you can handle all the leads that are coming in later that Monday. That is now resolved by AI. So there's a couple of things. I wouldn't be Podium and the core of our roots if I didn't talk about reviews. AI has the ability to help collect and respond reviews. We have proven that reviews are very, very important, not only for our Google SEO scores, but ultimately how people are deciding when and where to go to a dealership. And there's a couple of factors that implicate the way that you show up based off your review. So AI can help generate personalized review invites. Typically, that standard, manual motion of sending out review invites means copying and pasting a very general, hey, thanks for joining us, please leave a review. Whereas AI has the ability to connect to your data and systems and say, hey, Jonathan, had a great time talking to you last Tuesday. I'm so glad you bought that Ford F-150. Please leave a review on what your experience was like. And we know more and more by data that personalization generally helps engagement through text messages, which means more and more likely that those customers are going to leave a review because they're like, oh, that was a super personal invite. I would be happy to leave a review based off my experience. Second is AI can respond to reviews 2 times faster. Responding to reviews may not seem like the most important thing a part of your dealership, but it really is when it comes to how you show up on Google search functions. Google calculates a lot of different things and how you pop up. One of them being that you're responding to reviews. The other one being is how you're responding to those reviews. So it's not just a generalized approach. It's not just general copy that's put in there, but you're actually responding to the review itself. So if it was a 3-star review and they had specific feedback in there, that you're answering that feedback, saying what you'll do in the future. AI has the ability to automate and personalize that response on there that not only makes you show up better on Google results, but when people are searching within there, they're able to see that you're responding to those reviews. The other thing that it can do is boost your marketing efforts. So in the past week, a lot of dealerships past few weeks have probably sent messages about tariffs. In the past weeks, they're probably sending messages about Memorial Day sales coming up. AI has the ability to automate that and to write marketing campaigns. And that can be based off lists that you've segmented. So if you have certain people that haven't engaged in a certain amount of time, that you have specific messaging or deals offering to them, it can help write those campaigns. If you're doing it off a holiday, it can help write those campaigns. And it uses uses templates, auto industry analysis, and customer history to craft impactful campaigns. So instead of having to have one person in your dealership try to send out all these marketing messages that generally are pretty generalized because they don't have the time nor the ability with everything else they have going on, AI can help scale that and automate it and either write the messages for it and then your team, reviews it, or however you decide to work with AI. And that's another thing, is it's pretty customizable in terms of what you want to do and how you relate to it. Okay, use case number 2, responding to every lead with quality and speed. We know more and more that customers, no matter what time they reach out, they expect a response. If I'm looking for a car at 10 p.m. at night, I would love to get a response at 10:05 to my inquiries because that's the time that I have the ability to focus and purchase a car. There's this really great study by MIT that shows, after that 10-minute period, there's generally an 80% drop off in responses. So if you're taking more than 10 minutes, no matter when that is, to respond to a lead, generally you're not going to get a response back. Either the dealership down the street has got to it quicker, or they've just moved on and found somebody else that they're interested in working with. So that speed to lead really is a critical portion of it. AI makes your dealership open 24/7, has the ability to respond to inquiries no matter the time, no matter the day, doesn't take vacation or lunch breaks, doesn't have bad days, doesn't get the flu so that they can go to a Giants game. It's always there and available to be able to answer any inquiries that are happening, which means that even if you don't feel comfortable right off the bat being like, man, I'm going to have AI handle all my leads, it's very easy to be like, I feel comfortable having AI answer leads when I know my team isn't available, when the dealership's closed, when we're at our peak hours, different things like that. It's really customizable to how you want AI to supplement your dealership. It's not an all or nothing thing. It can also provide a cohesive conversation across all channels. So you may have somebody come in from a third-party lead that then eventually, we're not very consistent sometimes in how we interact with the dealership. So I may go to Kelley Blue Book and then go to your website a little bit later and fill out forms on both places. It has the ability to consolidate all of those into one place and have a continuous conversation with the customers that are engaging with you, which really makes it a seamless and connected experience for your customers who are looking to interact with your dealership. So, and it also does this in a natural, engaging conversation way, adapting to user sentiment in real time, which is really incredible. So what I'm talking about here is not a chatbot. It's not saying, hey, thanks for filling out this form. Somebody will get back to you soon based off your interest. No, it's able to say, hey, I see you're interested in that Ford F-150. I just checked. We have it on the lot. Do you want to come in tomorrow at 10 a.m. to drive it? Here's just a little example from one of our customers. The number one GM dealership in Georgia has seen a 68% increase in cars sold just by being able to answer those leads 24/7, and a 50% improvement in response time, which means under 1 minute. So you're getting that immediate response. They're not going anywhere else, and they're seeing that your inquiry is very valuable to them. Use case number 3, follow up and source new leads, which is becoming more and more important as maybe lead volume or lead quality is going down. So AI has the ability to keep leads engaged and boost your conversion rates. And this is a really important distinction between some other tools out there that maybe call themselves AI that are really just chatbots, right? So AI, true AI and customer-facing AI has the ability to engage your customers and is goal-oriented in what it's doing. So it's ultimately trying to get a test drive scheduled or trying to get them to come into the dealership. And it does this through a natural and engaged conversation model. It also has the ability to help you find new leads, which is, again, becoming more and more important as maybe people are holding onto their cars a little bit longer. They're a little bit more skeptical given the economy into purchasing new vehicles. And so you have the ability to connect AI tools and customer-facing AI tools to your data systems to find opportunities to boost your revenue. So if you're working with somebody whose lease is up in a couple of months, and you pull that list, reaching out to them and having AI automate that outreach, outreach so that you can mine and find new revenue within your data systems already. There's a lot of this already happening in dealerships, but it's extremely manual and sometimes comes at a cost. Then either you're mining and looking for new revenue, which means you're not answering the leads that are coming in, or you're answering all those leads that are coming in and you're not taking care of the customers that have already purchased from you and may have interest or opportunity to purchase from you right now. And so AI is a really great tool that can help automate all of that. Final use case I'm going to talk about today is improving customer support, which I think is sometimes the use case we get the most pushback on and curiosity of like, I don't believe that AI is going to be able to have a good, high quality conversation with our customers. So the way that it's able to do that is ensure customers receive timely and accurate information. Again, it's not just getting a generalized response, but getting a personalized instant response to any of their questions that are coming in. Manage common inquiries and boost the likelihood of retaining customers. I actually saw somebody post an example the other day at Podium that a customer just purchased a car. Within the chat, they just posted a screenshot of or a picture that they had taken of their check engine light being on in their new car. And our AI employee, Jerry, was able to recognize that. They said nothing else. Recognize that picture, recognize the check engine light and say, hey, it looks like your check engine's light. You just purchased this car. Let's get you in here and get that fixed. Automatically and instantly, which means that that person was like, yeah, I'm kind of frustrated about this. Thank you for your quick response. I'm coming in tomorrow. Does that work for you? Yep, Jerry got it scheduled. So handled that end-to-end frustrated customer and immediately changed their sentiment of the dealership without any human interaction having to come in and explain and handle that situation. And a big important aspect of that is also your AI being human. By no means, again, AI is not going to replace us, but it does need to be able to pretend to be us in certain situations. And so we take great pride at Podium. Our AI employee has gotten flowers. He has gotten, or she, depending on the dealership, has gotten Employee of the Month. They consistently have people come in saying, hey, I would like to speak to Jerry. He's been great. I really want to buy that car from him today. Because it's so human, because it's so natural, and be able to have that. And that human aspect of it means that it's trainable. It's not just this cut out of the box solution, but it's something that you're able to purchase and then train. We have a customer that sells, it's a used car dealer that sells only EVs. And he has said that, right out of the box, it was great, was able to maintain those leads. But after training it a couple of months, their AI employee's name is Glow. Glow was able to better answer question, like very technical EV questions, than his own sales reps on the floor, because it had been trained, it had been given feedback, and it now knew how to do that. So that's a really important aspect of it as well. So ultimately, right, when you choose to invest in any technology or tool within your dealership, you should be asking, how is this helping me? I'm spending money with you. I'm investing a lot of time. How is this helping not only my customer's experience, but me sell more cars or me have more revenue? We see ultimately that you're having, generally about 30% more digital sales because just that 24/7 lead response. And then you're also having more cost savings because you're not having to backfill or not having to worry when you have a bunch of turnover in your dealership, which ultimately improves the bottom line and happy customers. The last thing I'll talk about today, and I talked about it a little bit at the front, you all are being bombarded all of the time with AI solutions. And so I want to talk a little bit about what you should do and how you should evaluate them, whether that's Podium or any other, AI solution out there, because advances in AI have been incredible, but a lot of AI options out there really fall flat. They really just are a co-pilot or a chatbot. They require a lot more human interaction and support that actually means that it's not relieving your dealership from problems that you are already having. So questions that you should ask when you are working with any AI vendor. Is it goal-oriented? How have you trained this AI tool? What is it trying to do? If it's not goal-oriented, then it's always going to get stuck, right? It's always going to be like, let me just talk to somebody really quick, or I'll let someone know about that. Ultimately, something like Jerry or our AI BDC is goal-oriented to get a test drive scheduled. We have worked with dealers and we've seen that that's the best way to obviously get someone to come into a dealership, work with them, but not just get them scheduled, but to get them to come into the dealership. So once that schedule scheduled appointment is happening? Where's the follow-up? Where's the engagement? The top tier experience that makes sure that they come in. What's the technology supporting that AI tool? So asking, what is it working on top of what learning language model technology? I talked a little bit that we have worked really closely with OpenAI. We are model agnostic, so if there are ever any other better models out there, we'll always choose those ones. But OpenAI was kind of first to market with a lot of the AI solutions, and we have a really great relationship with them. And that's really helped us kind of get to market not only faster, but with a better solution. Does it learn? This is what I'm talking about. Is it just a cookie cutter solution that you can take and put in your dealership that doesn't actually do anything, or is it trainable? Can you provide feedback? Can you provide feedback to that vendor? So not just the tool itself, but say, hey, Podium, this, answer right here wasn't great. How can we make sure this doesn't happen again? And immediately have them jump on that. We have invested a ton of time and money in developers that make us really, customizable and easy to kind of hop on those solutions so that we can find the best solution for your dealership. How do you benchmark and test is a great question to ask any vendor that you are evaluating for AI solutions. What benchmarks are you looking at? What is your testing? What's your QA? If you're going to invest the time and money to make sure this is going into your dealership, you want to make sure that they've invested the time and money to make sure it's a top tier tool. Along with that, what are the guardrails? How do you make sure that somebody doesn't respond? Jason and I were talking to a dealer where somebody responded that they had a different AI agent that they could buy a car with their American Express. So they came in, were ready to buy their car with their American Express, and the dealer let them do it because the AI said they could and just ate a lot of fees that went along with that. So what are the guardrails to make sure that that doesn't happen? How do you set up these things to make sure that AI doesn't hallucinate? What are the security risks? This is maybe, if not the most important question, and probably the least asked question about dealers. What are you doing with my data? If you are getting access to my customers, my CRM, my CDP, whatever tools you're using, how are you protecting me? Are you giving that data to anybody else? At Podium, we're really proud. We work with some other verticals, including healthcare verticals, which means we have a ton of regulations we have to meet to be able to be within those, and that carries over to the auto vertical. So we're, top tier in terms of how we protect your data and make sure that it's secure at all times. How does it integrate? And this gets a little bit complicated depending on what other tools, CDP, CRM, or anything that you use. But so that's a very important question: is what other partners are you working with? What APIs do you have that can help integrate so that AI is only as good as the data that it has? And so how is it able to connect to that data? Ultimately, how is it able to scale? If I don't have a CDP right now, but I kind of want to have one down in the future, am I able to do that? How am I able to scale my AI to go, maybe it's just sales right now, but eventually I'd love my service department to have AI. Asking all of those questions. How will the provider support us? Is there an onboarding? A very important question that often gets missed, right? You don't want to just buy this AI and then have the vendor leave and go on to selling the next customer. You want somebody who has an onboarding plan, who's willing to take the time to make sure it's set up in the best case, but then also continuous customer support after you've been onboarded to make sure that at all times you have the ability and help that you need to make that tool successful. And then finally, does it have deep vertical training? Does it know automotive? Does it know how to sell cars? There's a lot of tools out there that'll say they do, but really are just cookie cutters from other tools out there. So really making sure that there is that happening there. So we talked a little bit here, some examples of how it's goal focused or what that looks like. So the other guys, maybe, do you have a Ford F-150? Yeah, contact us by clicking this link and filling out this form and someone will get back to you. Not AI. That's just a chatbot automation. Versus, do you have a black Ford F-150? Hey, I'm Jerry. I'd love to help you with this. Here's 2 links to ones we have on the lot. Do any of them look interesting to you, or anything else I can help you with today? Consistency, right? Does AI agent perform consistently over thousands of queries continuously to provide the best top tier answers? Is it conversational? Is it that human natural approach that's going to mean that somebody brings Jerry and flowers? And is it self-improving? Does it improve the more that it gets used, which is very, very, very critical. And then the other thing which we talked about is it low risk? Is the AI going to let you purchase a car with an American Express, or is it going to make sure that your dealership is protected and not offering any other options out there. And the last thing is really, is it built for collaboration? Your team has a lot of tools, and I'm sure they're sick of you all implementing different tools. So you want to make sure you're implementing a tool that's built for collaboration, that can make sure they can take over the lead, that you can work together on all of that, and that it's able to handle all of that. So here's just some examples of what maybe an agent platform looks like versus basic wrappers, which are those other guys that don't really, have that end-to-end customer experience in motion. And then I'm just gonna, if you would like to learn more about Jerry, schedule a demo, or just kind of talk to Jerry yourself, feel free to text Game Changer to this number, or I'm going to ask Tate, my good friend here from Podium, to stand up and wave. We will be at the game and are happy to talk at any point, or also feel free, Jason has our contact information, to reach out, and we'll get you scheduled with any questions you have. Thanks.
Thanks, Misty.
Yeah. Any questions?
You did such a good job. There, have questions, Misty? I do have one real quick. That has a little bit more to do with service. I know you guys are getting more and more into the fixed ops side of the business, and I know there are conversations happen on the sales side, and those conversations can be somewhat simplistic. Is it in stock? Is it out of stock? Does it come in blue? Does it come in red? Can I finance? Can I lease? Can you tell me a little bit more about what you guys are doing on the service side?
Yeah, we've spent a lot of time. A lot of our competitors have maybe gone to service first, but it's definitely the more complicated side. But it also is a very timely side of the business right now, where a ton of people are investing their time and money in fixed operations with tariffs and inventory being down in certain places. So we've spent a lot of time working with our current customers on the sales side to have our service product in beta within their dealerships, so that we can learn and train and get a better understanding of what kind of questions are coming in. How can we make sure that our AI is able to respond and know all of the difference, versus exactly what Jason's talking about. It's not, hey, does this blue or red, but hey, I have this specific problem that I need help with. How can you help me do that? And so it's taken a lot of time and training. We're really excited. Starting next, we have all of our customers on beta. Starting next month, we're going to be active and live in this, and really just get specific into there. And then something else that's really starting to come within service as well is phones. So we have a great phone system and tool at Podium, but something that's been missing is how can AI supplement some of that? So we've worked really closely with OpenAI and have created a pretty cool voice AI tool that will be launching in the next couple of months. So somebody calls and says, hey, I need to get an oil change. And that call will always be answered, because AI, in a very humanistic, natural tone, you won't know it's AI, is able to answer that and say, yes, we have next Thursday at 2 p.m. available. Let me get you on the calendar. Great. See you next week.
Hey guys, when it comes, we got a quick question. 1 second here. I'm just going to hit you the mic real quick.
Yes, thank you. And so I wanted to know which ways or if you have a AI system that can integrate into our CRM at, let's say I work at AutoNation. Yeah. And so I was trying to see, what ways could our AI integrate into the CRM that we use, at our dealership?
What CRM do you use?
That's a great question.
That's okay.
Okay.
Depending on the CRM that you use, there's a couple of different ways. One, we've worked with all of the big organizations out there to get an API created, which takes, it's very complicated. It takes a long time. You have to pay them for it. It's the whole thing. But basically then we would then have an API and access to that CRM. We've worked with that company to be able to integrate and connect there. The other thing that we've launched recently is a Google Chrome extension, which allows us to be able to integrate into almost any CRM, because you can be working within your CRM and then have Podium in your Chrome bar that's then connected there to make sure it has access to all of those things. Tate would have a lot more in the weeds answer. I'm just the fun marketing gal in terms of what that kind of looks like and what those APIs are. And then we also have a great product team that manages all those relationships. But we have about 1,800 dealers on Jerry right now that have a pretty seamless integration with their CRM.
Okay. And then, a follow-up question. I was just trying to see, as an individual, would I be able to, use an AI platform and connect it to our CRM, or would my company,
That's a great question. and would probably depend on the company based off what security risks they have and what AI tool you're trying to use. Because like I said, there's a lot out there and a lot aren't protecting your data. So there's probably a lot of companies that are very hesitant to you being like, I'm just going to check that into my CRM and have it do all of that. So it probably depends on the tools that they have and that you're willing to use. But if we were to purchase Podium, then yes, 100%, you would have a Podium account and be able to connect and understand and use all of the functions that we've talked about today. Yeah. Anybody else?
It's actually a really fair question because I do know some salespeople who have gone as far as trying to get signed up for themselves because their dealership is too far behind. Sorry, go ahead.
Hi, Misty.
Hi.
The question I have is when it comes to fixed ops, do you integrate with our parts department as well? So will they know our inventory?
Yes, that's what's kind of taken so long is through that process is making sure we connect to those systems. So we're slowly getting those APIs to make sure we know your inventory and those things. But as we continue to roll that out, that will be a part of it.
Secondly, when it comes to being personable, I like knowing since you guys are 24 hours and they never sleep, when it comes to being personalized, do they like say good morning, good evening, good afternoon?
Yes.
So they'll know it sounds like
They'll
a real
know what
person.
time it is. Like, hey, there's been times where someone will also be like, didn't know you'd be up that late. And be like, well, you're a night owl. I'm a night owl. Like, here to have the conversation. So it knows the time. There was another one where a lead came in on a Sunday in Wisconsin and Green Bay had won a game. And so Jerry was like, hey, of course I'm, all excited right now. Green Bay just won and immediately kind of brought those down. So there's all these different things that you can bring into your tool, whatever you're comfortable with, that it can make it really personable.
I can add something to that real quick because I actually had bought a Silverado just recently. A couple months ago, I bought a Chevy Silverado. It would have been really easy for me just to use my connections in the business and just call Bob and say, Bob, I need a Silverado. But whenever this happens, and it happens every few years because I only lease, is I put myself back into the customer's shoes and I force myself to become a customer. Whew. Sometimes I really wish I did not, all right? But I reached out to 9 different Chevy dealerships, all with the same lead, say, hey, this is the kind of truck I'm looking for. All right, please reply back to me via text message because I'm on the road all the time. All right, I can't answer the phone and I definitely emails just get stacked up, all right? I'll tell you right now, only 2 out of the 9 actually replied back to me. I'll take that back. 4 others did, but only called many, many, many times. Only 2 replied back to me in text message. 1 that replied back to me because in my lead, I said, I just moved to the area. I'm looking for a new truck. I didn't know this until almost completely after the transaction that it was a Podium dealership. And I actually was talking to Jerry. In my very first conversation, I was actually talking to Jerry. And Jerry asked me where I just moved from. And I said, well, I just moved from Toronto, Canada. And they're like, oh, that's cool. Why did you move to Nashville? And I jokingly said, the fishing. And it made a couple, and it actually went LOL, and it made a couple, I was like, okay, and it's funny, I didn't know until afterwards when I was introduced to Mike, my salesperson, that they were a Podium dealer, and I had actually had my first conversation where we were talking about fishing and getting a new truck and moving to the area with Jerry. So I will say from a natural language engine, the best I've ever seen, and I didn't even know I was talking to one. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good.
Nice.
Anybody
Okay,
else?
one other question? Want to pass that down? Yes. There we go. Thanks.
We've used AI for our phone system in service, so I'm fixed ops. And people would call in and they only recognize the caller if they've been in your database. We are 2 new open points, so that's great if you've been established for a long period of time. But when you're trying to get those, and then it gets switched to a BDC, which is in another location, and I feel like the one we were using didn't really suit our dealership. Is it the same that they have to recognize a phone number, or can they new business coming in?
New business can come in, and so Podium did the other way that a lot of other competitors have. We have a phone system now that has AI aspects of it. It can summarize calls, it can send, things out, but no answering the calls or having that AI voice there. So it has that ability. We have that ability already to kind of bring all of those calls in, send them to your CRM, send the phone number, names that come from it into your CRM, connect it, and take all of those new calls. Now it probably, probably would change the script of the call, right? Instead of, oh, hey, Gerald, it was great. Or, hey, Gerald, you were here last month. Like, it knows things about you where it's like, hey, welcome to our dealership. How can I help you today? And kind of get those basic information, just as it would be if it was a human, right? You don't have any information about this. You're taking that, but it can absolutely take in new calls.
And on the fixed ops side, guys, it can't be any more important. I just saw a stat recently that NADA put out that the average dealership has over 16 non-franchise entities going after the service business in their market, right? So a lot of times when we think of, on the sales side, we think of our market, we may think of the other Nissan dealership across town or the other Chrysler dealership, a few miles away or whatever it is, right? Well, we seem to forget that on the fixed ops side, you got Walmart, you got Costco, you got Bill's Auto Shop, you got Midas, Jiffy Lube. You have all these other entities going after that service business. And phones can be literally the do or die. I mean, trust me, guys, I ran 2 dealerships myself. I mean, fixed ops, heart and blood of the entire business. If you're not answering that phone, they're hanging up and they're just calling the Jiffy Lube. They're just calling the Walmart Auto Service or whatever it is. Hey, I was going to ask you, anyways, I'll make sure, if you guys didn't get a chance, we had that slide where it says test out Jerry. I really, really encourage you guys to test Jerry out. Actually, if you want to throw that up there, we'll just leave it up there while we're on break. Have fun. Ask Jerry questions. You can change the name of Jerry, but I like the name Jerry. So guys, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to reset. We got food, drinks, snacks, beers all here. Everybody out there watching on the interweb, I'm sorry, you can go grab a beer and come back and join us in about 10 minutes as well. But we're going to take a quick 10-minute break and we'll reset real fast. Thanks, guys. Big round of applause for Misty.
Thanks,